What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and today we're digging into a beer from Sloop Brewing out of Hopewell Junction, New York. This is Simcoe Bomb. So, if you're familiar with Sloop Brewing Company, you'll notice that I just gave a different location for the brewery than what has been traditional. So, Sloop actually was located up in Elizaville, New York, which is actually located in Columbia County, New York. But I mentioned Hopewell Junction. Why is that? Well, the reason being is that within the last month and a half or so, Sloop has actually gone ahead and opened up a brand new brewery in Hopewell Junction. I've also seen the location mentioned as East Fishkill, New York as well. And apparently this location is quadruple the size. They were actually very, very small. When they were in Elizaville, they actually were sharing space or leasing space, I believe, on a farm. And it was actually pretty small. And so they've basically opened up this new location in East Fishkill or Hopewell Junction, and I believe they have a full-on tasting room. I believe they're doing a food program now as well. And obviously, due to that large location now, or that new location, they're able to actually now distribute their beers into. I actually picked this up in Westchester County, New York, when I was there a couple of days ago. It happens to be where I grew up. So obviously distribution of their cans now versus obviously having to travel up to the brewery to pick up cans during their can releases. That's pretty awesome. For folks that still think about Elizaville, their old location, it actually is going to stay open, I've heard. So I basically believe that they're going to brew in that East Fishkill, Hopewell Junction location and then basically kind of truck beers up. So that tasting room is still open. All right. So that's kind of a little bit of the background on Sloop and what's going on with them. And so Simcoe Bomb is a New England style IPA coming in at 6.5% ABV and obviously is brewed exclusively with Simcoe. So I went ahead and obviously poured out the beer off camera. So let's just go straight into it, man. Let's take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and then of course we're going to rate it. All right. So beer comes on in, I mean, crazy full on haze. I mean, about as absolutely turbid as you can get. When I poured it out, we probably had a nice, probably 3/4 to almost a finger of like this kind of fluffy, kind of off-white head. Looks absolutely freaking beautiful in the glass. Let's go ahead and get ourselves an aroma. Oh. Wow. Okay, so straight up off the nose, there is an aroma to this particular beer that I, in previous videos or in previous episodes, have actually called the treehouse character. And what I mean by that is treehouse beers happen to have this particular note in the nose that is bubblegum in like. It's candied. It's got a little bit of kind of bubblegum thing kind of going on. I think Joe from Joe's Arcade has described it as like Flintstone like chewables or something like that, or Flintstone vitamins. I don't get that, but I know what he's saying in the sense is that like it's full on tropical fruits coming forward, right? So pineapple, mango, some citrus going on, a little bit of pine, and then on the overlay is this kind of bubblegum, kind of candied kind of note that I often find in treehouse beers, and I'm getting that in this beer right now, and I love that aroma. So this smells freaking awesome. So let's go ahead and obviously give ourselves a taste. So cheers. Yeah, that's tasty. Yeah, wow. Okay, so taste follows very similar in the nose. Again, it's tough to point out the tropical fruits here, right? Like, I use that term melange from time to time, and, like, that's kind of what it is. I don't like to use the word indeterminable or indescribable because I can describe it. It's just that the taste is tropical fruits. I can't pick which one out, right? It's a little bit of pineapple. It's a little bit of kind of mango, a little bit of papaya, things like that kind of all mixed together. There is a little bit of kind of pininess and maybe perhaps a slight twinge of grapefruit on the back end. I would actually lean a little bit more towards pine. But it tastes absolutely fantastic. Going in from one more sip. Yeah, the one thing that I will say is I'm really digging the mouthfeel on this beer. There is a kind of nice full-bodied, silky kind of mouthfeel. The one thing that I will say, however, though, is the beer dries out very quickly. And what has kind of left behind is a little bit of that kind of chalkiness, right? So New England style IPAs, some of them out there kind of suffer from that kind of chalkiness left over in the kind of palate. This one's kind of going with that. So there's no question about it. I am going to take one more sip just to make sure I'm sure. Yeah, beer finish is super, super dry. I mean, the taste is absolutely fantastic. Extremely aromatic, incredibly, incredibly flavorful. But I will say that there is a bit of kind of significant drying out of that particular beer, and what kind of is left behind is a little bit of that kind of chalkiness kind of going on that sits on the palate. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and give her a rating. So, Sloop Brewing Company's Simcoe Bomb New England Style IPA coming in at 6.5% ABV. I feel pretty comfortable giving this a beer of 4.25. I've actually had a bunch of their Bomb series. That's essentially what Simcoe Bomb is. It's a variant of their Bomb series, which is their most popular New England style IPAs. I actually did a review for Juice Bomb, which is the original, way back when, a number of months ago. And I think I've rated them higher in some cases. I'm comfortable with the 4.25 on this particular beer, simply based on the fact that the aromatics are spot on, the taste is spot on. It's a little bit of that chalkiness that it kind of leaves it behind, that I'm kind of bumping it down a little bit. But it's still an absolutely incredible, excellent beer, as evidenced by the 4.25 caps. All right, so that'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Taste. I hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers.